Three, two, one, go.
Hi, this is Jessica Cheriton with Remax Mountain Vista Properties in Salida, and today I wanted to give you an update on short-term rental licensing in our area. And also to preface that, I can educate a little bit about how short-term rental licensing works here. So first of all, if you have a property within Salida or say Buena Vista city limits, you need to get your short-term rental license with the city. And the cities actually only allow one license per block. So that's why the wait list ends up being so long sometimes, because if you're on a block where somebody else has already applied and received the short-term rental license, you would have to wait till that person gives up their license for their rental for you to receive a license. And many times there's people on the block ahead of you that have been waiting for years for their neighbor to give up that short-term rental license. So there's that. Second of all, the other reason it's difficult to get those city-issued short-term rental licenses is because there's a moratorium in both Buena Vista and Salida on short-term rental licensing. We, in both cities, have had a severe housing shortage, and COVID didn't help that situation. And so the cities this past summer in July took it upon themselves, by urging from the community members as well, to wait to give out any new licenses, and that has caused an even further backlog of people applying for those spots. So hard to get. Short-term rentals can be very lucrative. They're a great option for a touristy area like ours, but it's in the city limits. It's easy to dream up the numbers, but it's a little harder to make happen an application right now because getting the license is difficult. And if you don't have a license and you go about short-term renting, there are big fines, obviously, for doing so. Now, if you're outside of city limits, you can apply for a short-term rental license with the county, which is a little bit easier to come by. And you only need to have a county license or a city license. So it's mutually exclusive. Wherever you live, if you're outside of city limits, you have to have a county license. If you're in city limits, you just need the city license. You don't have to have both. The other thing that I should cover is that if you're in a commercial overlay area, commercial zoned area, if you own residential property in those areas, the one license per block only applies to strictly residential zoned areas. So let's say you're in an area that has a commercial overlay or is zoned commercial, then you still need that license. So the moratorium puts a nix on that for now, but when the moratorium is lifted, you should be able to apply and get a license quickly. We have a couple properties right now that are zoned in those areas that I can show you if that's something that you'd be interested in. Okay, so the whole process, you submit an application, it goes through an acceptance period or a waiting period, depending on where you're at on the list. Then they do processing and you receive approval of your licensing. And then you have to renew in June of each year for the city. That's for the city of Salida. And I'm pretty sure Buena Vista is the same month as well. So every year it renews. There's no proration. If you don't apply in June or get accepted in June, you still pay the same amount. And June is always the renewal month. Okay? There's 3 developments that are exempt from this, which is very interesting. So you should know. 2 Rivers, the Upchurch development, and Consulate Park are all exempt from the moratorium. And some of those haven't even been completely built out or built out at all yet. So when those properties become available, they will be a hot ticket item because they're exempt from the moratorium. The city is working hard. I know the county and city together and the citizens of the community are working hard to try to figure out affordable housing and fix our housing shortage. But right now there aren't any really great solutions. And so I don't see the moratorium ending anytime soon, unfortunately. But short-term rentals are still a really good option. Like I said, if you're in the county, if you get it into a commercial zone property, or if you happen to buy a property in one of those developments that's exempt, it's still a possibility and it's a great income option. I'll do another video at some point, probably in the next week or so, about the difference between purchasing a second property as an income residential property or as a second home property, and why you should do one or the other. That's all for today.